There is a voice in your head right now, and if you're honest, it hasn't stopped in years. It replays conversations, it rehearses arguments that never happen, it whispers that you're not enough, that something is wrong, that you need to figure everything out right now. And the exhausting part isn't just that it talks, it's that you've been listening to it your whole life, believing every word as if it were the truth of who you are. But what if it isn't? What if that voice is simply a habit, one your mind learned and one you can unlearn? Buddhism has known this for over 2,000 years, not through suppression, not through force, but through something far more powerful: awareness. In this video, you'll discover 8 life-changing habits that quietly dissolve the grip of that inner voice, one layer at a time. Stay with this. What you're about to hear could change everything. Habit 1. Observe without becoming. Most people think the goal is to silence the mind. Buddhism teaches something different. The goal is to stop mistaking the voice for yourself. There's a teaching that appears again and again in Buddhist tradition. The mind is like the sky. Thoughts are like clouds. The clouds move, they gather, they darken, they pass. But the sky never becomes the clouds, it simply holds them. You are the sky. You have always been the sky. But somewhere along the way, you forgot that and started identifying with every cloud that passed through. This first habit is deceptively simple. When a thought arises, instead of following it, you observe it. You don't analyze it. You don't argue with it. You don't try to make it stop. You simply notice it the way you'd notice a leaf floating down a river. There it is, and there it goes. What makes this so powerful is what happens neurologically. When you observe a thought without engaging with it, you interrupt the automatic identification process. You create a gap, and in that gap, something extraordinary lives. Choice, presence, quiet. In Zen Buddhism, this is sometimes called witnessing. You become the witness of your mind rather than its prisoner. And this shift, subtle as it sounds, is one of the most profound things a human being can do. Start small. Today, just once. When that inner voice starts running, pause. Don't try to stop it. Just watch it the way you'd watch clouds from a window. You're inside, the weather is outside. Let it be outside, the voice will still speak, but you'll no longer be the one it speaks as. You'll be the one it speaks to. And that distance, that single breath of space between you and the noise, is where your freedom begins. Habit 2. Return to the breath, again and again. Buddhism doesn't ask you to empty your mind. That's a Western misunderstanding of what meditation actually is. What Buddhism asks is far gentler and far more practical. Come back. The breath is always here. Right now, as you listen to this, your breath is happening without effort, without thought, without the voice's permission. It doesn't need to be analyzed. It doesn't need to be fixed. It just is. And that makes it the most powerful anchor available to you. Here's what actually happens when the inner voice takes over. You leave the present moment. You travel mentally to yesterday's regret or tomorrow's worry. The body stays here, but you disappear into a story. The breath brings you back. Not because it's magical, but because it's real, and it's now. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh speaks of breathing as a homecoming. Each breath is a return to yourself. Each exhale releases a little of the story you were carrying. The habit isn't to meditate for an hour every morning, though that's beautiful if you do. The habit is to return to your breath throughout the day. When the voice starts judging a conversation from this morning, breathe. When the anxiety about next week starts building, breathe. Not as a technique to escape, but as a reminder of where you actually are. You are here. The breath confirms it. Over time, this habit rewires something deep. The nervous system begins to associate awareness with safety. The voice begins to lose its urgency because the body keeps sending a quiet signal. We are here. We are okay. There is nothing to solve right now. The breath is not a pause from your life. It is your life, arriving moment by moment, asking you to be present for it. Habit 3. Name it to tame it. There is an ancient Buddhist practice called noting, and modern neuroscience has now confirmed what Buddhist monks discovered thousands of years ago. When you name what you're experiencing, you change your relationship to it. It works like this. The voice starts running. Maybe it's worrying about something you said. Maybe it's spinning a story about what someone thinks of you. Instead of getting pulled into the content of the thought, you simply name what type of thought it is. Worrying, judging, remembering, fantasizing. What happens in the brain when you do this is remarkable. The labeling activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of you that observes and reasons, and it quiets the amygdala, the part that reacts and fears. In simple terms, naming a thought moves you from being inside it to being above it. You stop being the worrier and become the one who notices worrying is happening. This is subtle but life-changing, because the voice's power doesn't come from its content. It comes from your identification with it. The moment you label it, you've created distance. You've said without words, this is something happening in me. It is not me. Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from clinging. We cling to thoughts by believing them, by feeding them attention. Naming interrupts the clinging without forcing anything. You don't need to journal. You don't need to analyze. Just a quiet internal whisper. Worrying again, planning again, judging again. Said with kindness, not frustration, because you're not fighting the voice. You're gently, wisely stepping out of its way. Habit 4. Embrace impermanence as a daily practice. The voice in your head is terrified of impermanence. It holds on. It replays. It tries to control outcomes that haven't happened yet. And underneath all that noise is one core fear. That things will change. That things will end. That what you love will disappear. Buddhism places impermanence at the heart of everything, not as a dark teaching, but as a liberating one. The Pali word is anicca. Everything arises, everything passes, without exception. When you truly absorb this, something loosens inside you. The argument you're replaying from 3 days ago, it's already gone. It exists only in the voice, not in reality. The anxiety about something that might happen next month. That moment doesn't exist yet. The voice is living in a world made entirely of memory and imagination, and pulling you out of the only moment that is real, this one. The habit is this. Once a day, preferably in a quiet moment, look at something around you and remind yourself gently that it is temporary. A cup of tea cooling, light shifting on a wall, the sound of wind, and let that truth land softly, not with sadness, but with tenderness. Because impermanence doesn't only mean loss, it also means that the anxiety you're feeling right now will pass. The mental noise that feels permanent, that feels like it has always been this way and always will be, is itself impermanent. It arose. It will pass. The voice fights impermanence because it thinks permanence is safety. But real peace comes from the opposite, from learning to rest inside the flow of things rather than clinging to the banks. When the voice tells you that something is a permanent problem, a permanent flaw, a permanent threat, you can meet it with one quiet truth. This too will pass, not as a dismissal of your experience, but as a reminder of reality. Nothing stays, not the good, not the hard, not the noise. All of it moves, and you are the stillness it moves through. Habit 5. Practice compassionate silence. Here's something most people never consider. The voice in your head isn't just loud, it's often cruel. It says things to you that you would never say to someone you love. It calls you stupid for that mistake. It tells you that you're falling behind, that you're too much, that you're not enough. It delivers this commentary in your own voice, which makes it feel true, which makes it feel like you. Buddhism responds to this not with suppression, but with metta, loving kindness, the practice of directing warmth toward yourself the same way you would toward a dear friend. The habit here is to interrupt the inner critic, not with argument, but with compassion. When the voice turns harsh, you don't fight it. You don't try to prove it wrong. You simply bring in a softer presence, the way a wise elder might place a hand on your shoulder. You're doing the best you can. You're human. This is hard. You don't have to be perfect to deserve peace. This isn't toxic positivity. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's choosing not to add suffering on top of suffering. Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron speaks of meeting yourself where you are, with gentleness, the way you'd meet a frightened child, because that voice, underneath all its noise, is often afraid. And fear doesn't dissolve through criticism. It dissolves through warmth. Try this once today. When the voice turns against you, pause, place a hand on your chest if it helps, and silently offer yourself the same words you'd offer a struggling friend. It's okay. You're okay. I'm here. The silence that follows isn't emptiness. It's the sound of the war inside you finally pausing. And in that pause, you remember that you were never your own enemy. Habit 6. Let the body lead you home. The voice lives in the mind, but you live in a body, and the body is always in the present moment. This is one of the most underused truths in Buddhist practice. When the mind is lost in noise, the body is the fastest path back. Buddhist traditions have long used body-based practices, walking meditation, mindful eating, the simple act of feeling your feet on the ground, not as physical exercise, but as a portal back to presence. Because the body doesn't know about yesterday, it doesn't worry about tomorrow. It exists only here, only now, carrying you forward one breath, one heartbeat, one step at a time. The habit is to choose one daily activity, one you do automatically, and make it fully physical. Washing the dishes, walking to another room, drinking your morning coffee. And instead of letting the voice narrate it, you feel it. The temperature of the water, the weight of the cup, the sensation of your feet meeting the floor. This sounds too simple to be life-changing, but the simplicity is exactly the point. The voice thrives when you're on autopilot, because autopilot means the mind is free to wander. When you bring full sensory attention to a simple act, you close the door on the wandering. Not forcefully, naturally, because you're here, and here doesn't have room for the noise. Over time, this habit teaches your nervous system that presence is safe, that you don't need to be 3 steps ahead to be okay, that this moment, the one happening in your body right now, is enough. The voice will try to pull you away. Let the body gently call you back. It's been waiting, quietly and patiently, for you to arrive. Habit 7. Sit with stillness every single day. There is a difference between quiet and stillness. Quiet is the absence of sound. Stillness is something you carry inside, something that exists even when the world around you is loud, even when the voice is speaking. And Buddhism teaches that stillness isn't something you create, it's something you uncover. It was always there, underneath the commentary, underneath the planning, underneath the fear. A deep, wordless presence that has been with you your entire life. You just couldn't hear it because the voice was always louder. This habit is about giving that stillness a daily meeting point, not a perfect meditation session, not an hour of silence in a monastery. Just a few minutes every day where you sit and do nothing except be. No phone, no input, no solving. Just you and whatever is here. At first, the voice will get louder. This is normal. It isn't used to being ignored. It will try harder. It will tell you this is boring, that you're wasting time, that you should be doing something productive. Let it say all of that. You don't have to respond, just stay, because something happens when you consistently choose to sit in stillness. The voice begins to understand that its urgency won't move you. And slowly, the way a child stops throwing a tantrum when they realize it isn't working, the noise begins to settle. Buddhist teacher Ajahn Chah described the mind as a glass of muddy water. If you keep shaking it, the mud stays suspended and you can't see through it. But if you set it down and leave it still, the mud slowly sinks and the water becomes clear. Stillness is how you set the glass down. What you'll find underneath once the mud settles will surprise you. Not emptiness, not boredom, but a quiet fullness, a sense of presence that doesn't need anything added to it, a knowing that doesn't come in words. This is what monks spend years uncovering. But you don't need years, you need consistency. 5 minutes of genuine stillness every day will do more for your inner peace than hours of distracted activity. Because you're not adding something to your life, you're returning to the part of yourself that the noise covered up. Start tomorrow morning, before the phone, before the news, before the day takes over. Sit somewhere comfortable. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and simply be here for 5 minutes without agenda. When the voice speaks, let it. When it quiets, notice the space that remains. That space is not nothing. That space is you, the real you, the one that was never loud, the one that never needed to prove anything, the one that has been quietly holding everything together while the voice took all the credit. Stillness is not a technique, it is a homecoming, and the more often you return, the shorter the journey back feels, until one day you realize you never really had to leave. Habit 8. Redefine your relationship with thought forever. Everything in this video has been leading here. Because you can practice all 7 habits and still miss the deepest shift unless you understand this one thing. It's not about managing your thoughts. It's about changing what you believe thoughts are. Most people treat thoughts like announcements, like official communications from headquarters. When the voice says you're failing, that feels like news. When it says people don't like you, that feels like information. When it says something terrible might happen, that feels like a warning you'd better take seriously. But Buddhism offers a completely different understanding. A thought is not a fact. It is not a message from a higher authority. It is simply an event in the mind, a mental formation arising from causes and conditions, carrying no inherent truth, no inherent importance, no inherent power over you, unless you grant it that power. The Buddha described the untrained mind as a monkey jumping from branch to branch, always moving, always grasping, never still. But he didn't say to kill the monkey. He said to stop feeding it, to stop treating every branch it jumps to as worthy of your full attention. When you redefine thought this way, something fundamental shifts. You stop being a believer of thoughts and become an observer of them. And the difference between those two positions is the difference between suffering and peace. This doesn't happen overnight. It is a gradual reorientation, like slowly turning a ship. At first you catch yourself mid-thought, already pulled in, already anxious, already spiraling. Then you catch yourself earlier, then earlier still. Until one day you notice the thought arising before it has fully formed, before it has pulled you anywhere, and you simply watch it appear and dissolve like a ripple on still water. And here's the most important part. You begin to extend this realization to your sense of self. Because that voice didn't just speak about the world, it spoke about you. It told you who you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve, and you believed it so thoroughly that you built an identity around its version of you. Buddhism calls this the constructed self, the self that is made of stories, of memories, of other people's opinions absorbed over a lifetime, of wounds that never fully healed and got written into beliefs. That constructed self is not who you are. It is who the voice told you that you were. Underneath it, there is something that cannot be constructed and cannot be destroyed. A presence, a witnessing awareness, something that has watched every thought you've ever had without being touched by any of them. That is what you are. Not the voice, not the stories, not the fears. The one who watched all of it quietly from the very beginning. When this lands in you, not just as an idea, but as a lived reality, the voice doesn't disappear, but it becomes what it was always meant to be. Background noise, occasionally useful, never the truth, never the master. You'll still have hard days. The voice will still rise, but you'll know something now that changes everything. You are not what's speaking. You are what's listening, and what's listening has always been at peace. The 8 habits in this video aren't steps to a perfect mind. They're gentle reminders of something you already are. Peace isn't a destination you're trying to reach. It's the ground you're standing on when you stop running from the noise. You don't have to silence the voice. You just have to stop believing it's you. Start with one habit. Practice it today. and come back to this whenever the noise gets loud. If this reached something in you, subscribe. There's more here for anyone ready to come home to themselves. The silence is already waiting.